Good evening, everyone. I hope all of you are hale and hearty, safe and sanitized. I take this opportunity, my dear participants, to welcome all of you to PSTV Live. And this is an episode on how to deliver a great TEDx talk. Now, as you all know, that PlanetSpark TV Live basically is on a mission to empower you with all that you need to become a terrific, a confident, and a spellbinding public speaker. And that's the reason we bring to you some power packed episodes on public speaking. We basically walk you through some potent and pragmatic ideas on how to inculcate all that you need to become a charismatic public speaker. Now, in last few episodes, as you all know that, I introduced you to the concept of TED, TEDx. We actually dived deep into the differences between a speech, a presentation, a lecture, and also a TEDx talk. We also discussed at length about the stage etiquettes, how to draft your ideas into a narrative, and how do you come up with ideas worth spreading, my dear participants. Coupled with this, we also dealt with some key concepts on voice modulation, on body language, and various things actually that come together to help you give your best shot when it comes to delivering a TEDx talk. Not just this, my dear participants, I tried actually empowering you with different content, theme-based content like body language, confidence, self-confidence, Olympics, social media, power of humanity, power of kindness, determination, etc., etc. In fact, I think all of these theme-based content empowered us in the idea of speech making or drafting a speech. Now, let's understand something, my dear participants, that if you really want to come up with ideas, then you have to ensure that you actually come up with an idea that, number one, you're passionate about. Number two, something that you are good at, or maybe exceptionally good at, or something that you feel firmly for. That's something you actually talk passionately about. And that's when you go about to actually distill your idea, filter your ideas, and come up with something that's unique, that's healthy, that's productive, that's simple, and at the same time, that's applicable. Not just that, my dear participants, it's important to strike a chord between your performance and your presentation. So performance would be how you speak up, your delivery style, your body language, your tone of voice, your selection of words. And on the other hand, your presentation is the visual aid you plan to carry with you. And the visual aid also has to be designed meticulously. So these are some of the do's and don'ts, the basic pros and cons of a TED talk. And that's something you need to keep in mind if you aspire to become a TEDx speaker. We also discussed about different types of TEDx talks, my dear participants. It's not necessary for you to always come on the stage and share a game-changing, a world-changing idea. As a TEDx speaker, you can also talk about small ideas that change the world. You can come up with tangible solutions to a universal problem or maybe a local problem. You can simply present an artistic statement, demonstrating your art for the audience. So any kind of an idea that empowers your audience will go a long way in helping you create an impact on your audience. It's rightly said that communication, effective communication, my dear participants, takes place when your communication turns into articulation. And how do you turn that into articulation? The best way to do that, ladies and gentlemen, is to make sure you're intentional, mindful, and aware of your verbal, your words, your vocal, your voice, and your visual, your body language, all these three elements of communication. And that's when you can actually walk an extra mile, convey your meanings more clearly, and eventually become a titan of public speaking. On that note, once again, I welcome all of you to the episode on how to deliver a great TEDx talk and eventually dazzle your audience with your oratory skills. So, my dear participants, we go live on Facebook and YouTube every day from Monday to Friday at 7:15 p.m. IST. And in the power-packed episode of around 40 minutes, I walk you through some ideas and protocols on how to become a remarkable TEDx speaker. And I request all of you to get in touch with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You can also follow our YouTube channel. And please remember that we post a lot of incredible content, life-changing content that will empower you and add to your knowledge bank. So do stay in touch with us, stay connected. And now time for me to introduce you to what we have in store. All right. So what's in the pipeline for you, ladies and gentlemen? Here we go. I'm going to be starting off with some icebreakers as usual. And after the icebreakers, we'll deal with the fundamentals of a TEDx talk. So the fundamentals basically are three, which you already know. And today we'll be throwing light on the three fundamentals. Once again, we'll then move on to today's topic. And one of the fundamentals will be our topic for the day. I'll make sure that I elucidate the three elements, the three aspects of today's fundamental. We will then move on to games like Who Said This, Fastest Fingers. I'm going to ask you some questions at the end under the category Think Smart. I'll also give you a summary at the end. And we have some bonuses for you. I'm going to give you some words that you can add to your vocabulary, ladies and gentlemen, some expert tips here and there. And at the end, I have a video recommendation for you. All right. So on that note, time for us to embark upon our ice-breaking session. Before that, is there something different you see on the screen, boys and girls? Well, yes, if you have actually observed it, the PlanetSpark has gone through a makeover. Look at the logo. It looks far more enchanting, colorful, and impactful. And as you know that the PlanetSpark logo has been transformed. And I think this is the one that conveys what exactly is the power of communication, the power of listening, the power of understanding, and the power of innovation in the edtech startup. All right, so moving on, the first question. Who among you is more creative? You or your sibling or your friend? So as you know that we will be doing a little bit, we'll be dealing with the topic creativity, right? And that's the reason I have some ice-breaking questions for you on creativity. So my question is, who among you is more creative? You or your sibling? Let's see what comments we have in the comment section. All right. Okay. So I have some viewers telling me that I happen to be more creative. All right. All right. So according to a lot of researchers, they say that elder siblings happen to be generally more intelligent and far more creative than the younger ones. So yes, if you're the eldest one, you can actually say that with confidence. Okay. The next one. Name a creativity skill that you wish to possess. So I've always wished to possess, so I'm a good painter. I paint well. I always wanted to dance, so I've always been interested in visual art. And one of them happens to be dancing. That's something I really wish to learn, and I wish I possessed that skill. What skill do you think you should have possessed? Let's see some comments. All right, some of viewers actually say painting, sketching. All right. Singing, yes, absolutely, singing as well. Okay, participants, moving on. The next question. Can you call yourself creative? If yes, why? So I may call myself creative primarily because I feel creativity is all about your thought process. It begins with your thought process, your mindset. And if you're someone who is someone who works at creativity by coming up with tangible solutions, someone who's solution oriented, I think that is an add-on, and that is something that adds to your creativity value. So yes, I would say yes. Let's see what the viewers have to say here. All right. Thank you for your comments, viewers. Time for us to quickly cast a glance at the three fundamentals of a TED Talk. So, my dear participants, as you see on the screen right now, there are three fundamentals that we will be talking about. The first one, as you see on the screen, is a strong opening. Now, what exactly is a strong opening? A strong opening is basically defined as a robust, a strong, and a powerful opening, the first paragraph or the introduction. You have to ensure that you work at, creating or crafting a powerful introduction for your speech. Number one, a strong opening. Number two is a big purpose. Now, a big purpose basically is defined as the act of incorporating the importance of the topic in your talk. Number 2. Number 3 is a personal touch. Now, what exactly is a personal touch, ladies and gentlemen? A personal touch basically is ensuring that you share enough experiences and personal anecdotes to make your speech, your talk holistic and comprehensive. That's how we define a personal touch for you. Now, what's the agenda? What's the theme for today? So, as you all know, we actually began with this theme in the last week itself, and we've dealt with some of the fundamentals also. So, the topic that we've chosen is the scope and importance of creativity. Let's see what exactly we mean by the importance and scope of creativity. So, let's quickly cast a glance at the description. By the way, this is not a part of the speech. This is simply something that you have to incorporate when you are you need to understand before you start writing about creativity. Here we go. The term creativity refers to the ability to produce something that is both new and valuable. Good education, proper care, and provision of opportunities to inspire, stimulate, and sharpen the creative mind. And it is in this sphere that parents, society, and teachers make a significant contribution. Creativity is the ability to see things in a new and unusual light, to see problems that no one else may even realize it exists, and then come up with new, unusual solution and effective solutions. Papilia and Oles, that's a quote by them. Continuing, creative expression basically is not restricted by any limits or boundaries. It basically covers all fields and activities of human life, in basically any of which you're able to demonstrate creativity by expressing or producing new ideas and objects. That's exactly the definition of creativity that you need to have in the back of your mind while you are drafting your speech on creativity, its importance and scope, my dear participants. Now, the agenda for the day is a big purpose. We will be learning about the second fundamental of a TEDx talk, that is a big purpose, and the theme will be creativity. All right. Now let's talk about what exactly is a big purpose. That's $1 million question. So a few minutes ago, while I was introducing you to the 3 fundamentals, I talked about the big purpose, and I told you that a big purpose is all about incorporating the importance of the topic in your talk. So it's all about incorporating the importance of the topic. And here the topic is creativity. So the focus will be on talking about the importance, the significance, and how does it impact our lives in general. Moving on, let's talk about why do we need a big purpose? So you know what exactly is a big purpose? Now, why do you need to incorporate a big purpose in your talk? That's the $1 million question I have for you. Let's see some tangible solutions, some tangible answers. The first reason why you need to have a big purpose in your talk, ladies and gentlemen, is because it helps you emphasize on a particular topic. It tells your audience why is this topic important. And more importantly, it basically brings the topic to everyone's attention. All right. So remember, it emphasizes the topic. Number 2, it lets the audience know why is it important for us right now at this junction to discuss this topic. The second reason why you need to have a big purpose, ladies and gentlemen, is primarily because it brings immediate attention on the relevance of the topic, and it's a tool for engagement. All right. So it helps your audience understand that this topic is relevant. It's urgent. It's the need of the hour. Not just that, it also helps you engage with your audience, connect with them, talk to them, have fun with them. And that's the reason why you need to be having a big purpose. Now, I want you to know, my dear participants, there are 3 essentials of a big purpose. Just like we have 3 fundamentals of a TEDx talk, similarly, there are 3 aspects, 3 components, or 3 essentials of a big purpose. What are they? Number 1, emphasize on the topic. Number 2, break down the topic. Number 3, bring it all together. Now, what do we mean by emphasize on the topic? So emphasize on the topic simply means emphasizing on the significance, the importance. How is this topic relevant? How is this topic important? Not in your life, but in your audience's life. Try focusing more on their needs, their interests, their concerns, and their expectations, my dear participants. That is what will help you in actually underlining the importance of the topic. So the first thing is emphasizing the importance of the topic. How do you do that? You do that by sharing your knowledge on why is this topic important, why is this topic significant, And why does your audience need to know about this topic? The second one, ladies and gentlemen, is break down the topic. Now, what do we mean by breaking down the topic? It simply means that you share different dimensions and different perspectives on the same topic. All right, that's what breaking down of your topic is all about. And number three is bring it all together. Bring it all together simply means summarizing at the end in a couple of sentences. So you don't just break down, you also summarize it by the end. So that's what we mean by the big purpose. Number one, let's discuss about the first essential now, ladies and gentlemen. The first essential is the importance of the topic, highlighting the importance of the topic. How do we do that and why do we need that? So, number one, let me give you an example of how you actually highlight the importance of the topic in your talk. So, the example is right here on the screen for you. For example, creativity opens our hearts and doors to our mind. It brings us to hidden parts of ourselves. It allows recognition of uniqueness and identity as well. If basically it can help you draw out what is already there within. Hidden talents and inner capacities can emerge unexpectedly, and it all connects us with our passions. So that's something that you can write about when it comes to importance. I have one more example for you in continuation, my dear participants. When engaging with creativity, young people are not passively listening or absorbing, but exploring, discovering, and communicating. It can support young people to be more active and present as members of society. So we actually try to draw a nexus between creativity and becoming meaningful citizens of the society. The next sentence says, creativity engages the mind. It frees the mind in a way that enables a person to absorb more knowledge easily. It also makes processing learning more efficient. It enables alternative ways of thinking. I told you in the beginning, creativity and solution oriented attitude go hand in hand. And that's the reason why it's creativity that actually enables you to think of different ways, different solutions. It unblocks old patterns or habits of thinking. Not just that, ladies and gentlemen, it also allows for non-linear thinking. Non-linear thinking, you're able to think from different dimensions, different perspectives, and probably come up with some unexpected solutions. Robust solutions. And also it enables empathy. It connects us to ourselves. So here we see umpteen number of benefits that come along with creativity. Now, an expert tip for all of you, ladies and gentlemen, please remember, creative is something that could be innate or acquired. It is something every human being possesses. All you need is to practice and refine your skill and open a million doors of opportunities for yourself. So we see how creativity and opportunities are basically two sides of the same coin. The more creative you are, the more you refine your skill, the more opportunities you will receive. Opportunities for growth, opportunities for development, opportunities for learning, and opportunities for earning as well. Moving on, I would like to suggest a word that you need to add to your vocabulary. The word is innate. Innate basically is inborn or natural. Innate skill, innate talent. All right. Let me give you a sentence to help you understand this in detail. The sentence is her innate capacity for organizational skills, or her innate capacity for organization. That's the sentence for you here. Now let's play another game. Who said this? Now, you all know that we have actually incorporated this game to help you understand the significance of quotes and quotations. So I'll be sharing with you some quotes on creativity and innovation. All you've got to do is try answering those questions. If not, I'm going to share the answers with you. And the best thing you could do is remember these quotes, maybe memorize them, and they can actually come handy anytime in your discussions, in your public speeches, in your elevator pitches, or also in your presentations. The first quote. Here we go. Every child is an artist. The problem is staying up an artist when you grow up. One of my most favorite quotes, I remember quoting this when talking about creativity way back in my school days. So that's a very powerful quote by an artist himself who says that every child is born as an artist. The problem is actually staying an artist when you grow up, because we know by the time we grow up, we tend to, lose track of our hobbies, our interests, and most of us, we get busy with the hustle of life. This is a very powerful quote by Picasso, Pablo Picasso. Number two, the second quote. If you hear a voice within, you say, you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced. Once again, if you hear a voice within that says, you cannot paint, then please ensure that by all means you paint, because the voice will eventually be silenced. That's it, another powerful quote on determination and creativity, and that's a quote by Vincent van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh. All right. The third quote is here for you. Creativity is just connecting things. When you ask creative people how did they accomplish something, they feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it. Basically they just saw it. They just saw something, and it seemed obvious to them after a while. So that's how creativity functions, very naturally, very spontaneously, very smoothly. And creative people don't even know how they've created the creative body of work, because they know it actually comes naturally to them. That's a quote by Steve Jobs on creativity and accomplishment of goals. Now, moving on, my dear participants, let's talk about the second essential, or the second element, which is break down the topic. Now, I told you in the beginning, breaking down the topic actually is all about sharing different dimensions, different perspectives, and different standpoints on the same topic. For example, for the topic like creativity, you can actually have explanation under two titles. The first one could be, as you see on the screen, the importance of creativity. That could be the first one. The second one could be the scope of creativity. So you can actually talk about these two themes one by one in detail. So coming to the first one, ladies and gentlemen, importance of creativity. Please ensure that you have point-wise explanation. Point number one, creativity helps you see the bigger picture. For example, being able to see the bigger picture is important in many areas of life, whether it's your personal life or your work project. It's easy to get bogged down and lost in details. Number two, creativity helps in motivating you. For example, feeling discouraged and frustrated about something, well, doing something creative can actually lift your spirits and help you actually shake off a bad mood. Not just that, my dear participants, it takes your mind off what's bothering you, but you're still engaging your mind. So the first benefit, the second benefit, the second importance of creativity. You can move on to the third importance of creativity, which says creativity helps you with problem solving as well. So when you're trying to actually find solution to a problem, thinking creatively opens up possibilities. You look at solutions from different angles, and oftentimes people get stuck on solutions that they've always used in the past. Please remember, ladies and gentlemen, while it might still get, while it might still get the job done, it could be done better if probably you were more creative. That's how we get unique ideas and how innovators set themselves apart from the crowd. So if you want to stand out from the rest of the crowd, ensure that you're creative and you give a creative approach to almost everything that you do. Because even though the work will get done without creativity also, but if you're slightly more creative, it will add so much more brownie points to the output you produce. Now, coming to the scope of creativity. Before that, the last point I would like to cover for you, which is creativity brings people together. So, for example, being creative can be solitary or a personal experience, but it can also be a community driven experience. Art classes, craft groups, bands, and so on are all collective examples of creative people coming together to do what they really love. These connections are incredibly valuable for a person's mental health and also for a sense of belonging. And last but not the least, you can now cover the scope of creativity. So I have an example here for you. Creative expression is not restricted by any limits or boundaries. It covers all fields and activities of human life, in any of which one is able to demonstrate creativity by expressing or producing a new idea or object. From fashion designing to blogging, from composing music to dancing to the rhythm, from painting to graphic designing, from web development to computer user interface, artificial intelligence, hosting, interviewing, debating, makeup, hairdressing, cooking, art, aerobics, gymnastics, arts and crafts, etc., to writing a book. There is no field that doesn't require creativity. So creativity, ladies and gentlemen, is the essence of every career, every offbeat career especially. And you need to be thinking outside the box and executing it every time you want to produce results that are different and marvelous. Now, another word that you can add to your vocabulary, artistry. Artistry basically is synonymous to creative skill or creative ability. Here's a sentence for you. The artistry of the pianist. That means the creative skill, the creativity of an artist. Now, let's quickly play fastest fingers, my dear participants. Is it true or not? There are immense opportunities in the world for creative people. Now, we know that in today's day and age, in the 21st century, a plethora of careers demand creative professionals, and therefore there will always be immense opportunities for creative people. The next one. Is it necessary to step out of your home to expose your creativity? Well, I think the pandemic times have actually proven us wrong, that you don't have to step out of your house to be creative, because you can be very much creative at home as well. And there are so many exciting things you can do, exciting hobbies you can pick up, exciting jobs you can do sitting at home, right? Now, let's move on to the third point, my dear participants. That is the third element, bringing it all together. We began with the importance of the topic. We then moved on to break it down. And now the third element, which is bringing it all together. How do you bring it all? How do you bring it all together? You bring it all together by simply, as you see on the screen right now, you have to summarize your points. How do you do it? Let me give you a quick example here. We discussed the wide spectrum, broadness, importance, and scope of creativity. We learn the minute details the same while understanding the important sayings of famous personalities and by the medium of fun and games. So that is the gist of today's, session episode, that is bringing it all together and breaking it down first. So that is what we need to understand, ladies and gentlemen. Incorporating a big purpose is not just about talking about the importance, the significance randomly. It's about an organized approach you give to your speech writing, to your drafting of your speech, by beginning with the importance and then moving on to breaking it down into two different dimensions and then elaborating them one by one using robust points. And then you finally have the last part, bringing it all together by summarizing it. Let me ask you some quick questions before we say goodbye. Number one, who among the following was a famous sculptor? Who among the following was a famous sculptor? Let's see what our viewers say. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, participants. Thank you for your inputs. It is Michelangelo. Let's move on to the next question, the next bonus for you, and that is recommendation. Now, you all know, my dear participants, that when you actually hunt for a video, a TEDx video on YouTube in a particular theme, it's actually confusing and mind-boggling because you have a variety of videos of the same theme. And that's when it gets a little confusing for newbies. And that's the reason I have a specific recommendation for you. If you want to watch something really interesting and fascinating on the topic creativity, then please ensure that you watch this video called Give Yourself Permission to Be Creative. The link is given in the description box below on Facebook as well as YouTube. Do check out the link. And this is what we dealt with today. As you all know, the agenda was a big purpose, and we talked about the second fundamental by using three essential elements. Number one, the importance. Number two, break it down. And number three, bring it all together. And that's something we dealt with today, ladies and gentlemen. And the theme we have picked up for next 3 episodes is creativity, its scope, as well as the importance. Now, I have a request to make to all of you. Please remember all the 3 mantras we discussed today, emphasizing the topic, breaking it down, and bringing it all together. Because tomorrow, when we start with a personal touch, I'm going to have a quick revision of all that we've done today, and then we'll be starting with a personal touch. So please remember, my dear participants, a personal touch will be about how to incorporate your personal experiences. We'll have loads of fun actually designing our speech tomorrow. And as you all know, the beauty of these episodes is the practicability. You know how pragmatic these episodes are. It's not lip service that we do. We try to actually serve you to the best of our capacities by providing you with content, with examples that you can actually learn from very easily and very effectively. All right, my dear participants. So with that, we come to the end of today's episode. As you all know, the agenda was a big purpose, the 3 essentials of a big purpose. And in tomorrow's episode, ladies and gentlemen, we will be embarking upon the 3rd fundamental of a TEDx talk, which is a personal touch. The theme remains the same, creativity. I'll also make sure I give you some amazing techniques in the beginning of the session, some do's and don'ts for public speaking and stage etiquette. And tomorrow, I'll also talk to you at length about how to actually work on your ideas. Now, you have innumerable ideas. How do you actually convert those ideas into a script, into a narrative? We'll discuss that as well. Till then, you please take very good care of yourselves. Stay safe, stay well, and let's meet tomorrow at 7:15. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's meet super soon. Take care.